Saudi Arabia intends to build a never-before-seen city. It's a development project that will define the future of that country and the rest of the world. The country's prince announced that he will build a city stretching in a single 160 kilometers line. The linear city is part of a development project planned by the Saudi government. Saudi Arabia's economy, which is extremely dependent on oil, still boasts the most valuable company in the world in this sector, and its economic foundation remains structured around oil. To stop relying on it, the Saudi government is investing in infrastructure, education, and scientific research, so that in the future, the country will no longer depend on oil. This development model can be seen throughout the Arabian Peninsula, with nations launching ambitious future programs. Countries such as Oman, Qatar, and Kuwait have similar infrastructure programs. Accordingly, Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 initiative was announced in April 2016. The project is promoted by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the son of the Saudi king. Although he is officially the Crown Prince and Minister of Defense, bin Salman is already considered the de facto leader of the country. The linear city is part of the project initiated by Prince Mohammed, which includes several infrastructure projects. One, called NEOM, is being built in Tabuk province in Saudi Arabia. Here, the government has created a zone for a new city. The area is located by the Gulf of Aqaba and the Red Sea, with the Strait of Tiran connecting them, and on the opposite side of the strait lies Sharm el-Sheikh, an Egyptian city economically focused on tourism. It is an extremely successful and expensive city, and now on the other side of the strait, the NEOM project will be carried out. The two islands, Tiran and Sanafir, were historically disputed between Egypt and Saudi Arabia, but the Egyptian parliament transferred them to Saudi Arabia in 2017, and this agreement paves the way for a new bridge that will link the two countries. This will create a land connection between North Africa and the Arabian Peninsula, completely bypassing Israel. Construction on some of the first projects has already begun since NEOM was announced. In the first phase, Nebraska OM Bay is being developed, which should lay the foundation for further growth. Some luxury hotels have also been built in the bay. In 2019, the newly constructed NEOM Bay Airport was inaugurated, allowing a direct connection to Saudi Arabia's capital. However, the largest project in NEOM at the moment is not intended for the public, as it is an enormous complex of parks composed of several palaces for the Saudi king and his family. And with the announcement of the linear city at the beginning of 2021, plans were presented for what the actual city in NEOM will be like. The concept of a linear city is expected to bring a series of advantages, and the Saudi prince hopes it will become a city of the future. The city will be built on 3 different levels. The first level, the ground level, will feature an area complete with roads and cars, where the city's residents will be able to walk freely without the risk of getting hit by vehicles or anything like that. The second level is intended to serve as a service tier that will house shops and other commercial spaces, while the third and lowest level will be the backbone of the city. It is here that goods and people will be transported throughout the city. An ultra-high-speed transit system is planned, and it should allow people to travel anywhere in the city in less than 20 minutes. This corridor is designed to connect different parts of the city so that everything can be accessed by public transportation and on foot. The entire layout of the city is based on the premise that today's major cities are the result of the Industrial Revolution. In other words, they were built around machines, cars, and industry, completely ignoring people. The line aims to reduce the need for personal cars and organize all transportation services in a sustainable way, since the city will be entirely powered by clean energy from solar, wind, and hydrogen. In addition, artificial intelligence is expected to be used to simplify the lives of residents and utilize resources more effectively. The Saudi government has announced that it will invest $500 billion in the NEOM project, but the project still leaves some things out. While focusing on a sustainable city is about ensuring a harmonious relationship between people and the nature surrounding the city, the Saudi project ignores what is around the city. And although the linear form is fascinating and truly spectacular to behold, it has not yet been explained how this layout contributes to sustainability. But perhaps this city concept is meant to achieve a different objective than originally proposed, namely, to generate attention. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is promoting this project worldwide through online ads, television commercials, and videos on private channels. The Saudi government is trying to attract investments for its linear city. However, the concept of a linear city is not as new as it may seem. For example, Spanish planner Arturo Soria y Mata developed plans for linear cities in the 1880s. He envisioned that, due to the inherent design of a linear city, every citizen would have close access to nature and agricultural lands. He strove for a city that embraced nature, believing he could create a balance between rural and urban life. After the founding of the Soviet Union, Russian urbanist Nikolai Alexandrovich took the idea and partially implemented it in the city of Volgograd and Magnitogorsk. And once again, this same system was implemented in the 1950s when Brasilia was created in Brazil. The planned Brazilian city incorporated modernity and nature. It has a central axis along which most of the city is located. The problem that arose was that home prices along the main axis were very high, and with the growing population, various variations of the city began to form along it. Neon, on the other hand, differs from Brasilia in several aspects, including the fact that while Brasilia relies heavily on car traffic, Neon has rendered cars unnecessary. Nevertheless, the commitment to designing a city based on a linear vision remains. It will be interesting to see how the implementation of the idea by the government and engineers will align with the needs of the people who will actually live there. But here another problem arises. The local Huaytat tribe that lives in this area is calling for a United Nations investigation because they are being forced to give up their homes for this project. The government wants to establish Neon as a free trade zone with its own tax system and its own legal framework, aiming to create a safe environment for global investors so that they are not hampered by another conservative system based on Islamic Sharia. A similar approach to that of the United Arab Emirates might be considered in 2006. The United Arab Emirates created separate common law courts in the English tradition to ensure international standards within Dubai's financial center. These courts have their own jurisdiction governing civil and commercial disputes within Dubai, but in the case of Neon, it is not yet clear how exactly the legal system will be implemented. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is undergoing liberalization in some areas of society to better align with Western standards and thereby attract more investors. At the same time, Prince Mohammed is accused of various human rights abuses, including arresting activists who oppose the government, and the Crown Prince has also been linked to the assassination of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul.